Imagine for a moment that your life is already everything you've ever desired, that every door opens with ease, that every opportunity bends to your favor, and that circumstances mysteriously align to fulfill your deepest hopes. This is not a fantasy. This is a law, one governed by consciousness. You see, the world does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are conscious of being. To act as if you are the luckiest person in the world is to assume that the universe itself conspires for your good. Not because of chance, not because of external validation, but because you have chosen to dwell in the feeling of being favored. When you walk into a room, you must do so with the inner conviction that something wonderful awaits you. And it will. Everything begins with a state. A state is not something outside of you. It is an inner condition, a vibration, a self-concept. The moment you shift your state, the outer world rearranges itself accordingly. So what does it mean to act as if? It means to inwardly accept a reality before there is any evidence of it. You speak from it, you think from it, you live from it. You do not beg for luck, you embody it. You may say, "But I don't see any signs. How can I believe when everything looks the same?" And I tell you, that is precisely when you must persist. The seed must be planted in the unseen soil of imagination before it sprouts into visible form. To act as if you are the luckiest person alive is to trust the invisible more than the visible. You become unmoved by appearances and completely absorbed by the truth that what you feel as real will become real. When you assume that life is always working out for you, you begin to feel relaxed in the face of uncertainty. People start to treat you differently, not because they have changed, but because your inner self has changed. The world is a mirror. When you believe you are fortunate, blessed, chosen, then so it is. You must choose the feeling over the fact. You must favor the vision over the visible. Feel lucky now, not later. Speak blessings over your life. Wake up and say, "Today, everything flows in my favor." Say it with the conviction of one who knows. And soon, life will mirror it back to you. Do not wait for evidence to feel it, and the evidence will come. Act as if you are the luckiest person in the world, because you are the moment you decide you are. To be lucky, you must feel lucky. Before there is any external validation, before a single sign points to your favor, before the world offers you any reason to believe it. This is the key, the secret held within the very structure of consciousness. You must assume the feeling of luck not because something has happened, but so that something will happen. The feeling comes first. The evidence follows. Most people wait for a shift in their circumstances to feel fortunate. But those who understand the creative power of imagination know it works the other way around. Imagination must come first, because it is the womb of reality. Everything that exists, every fortune, every coincidence, every so-called miracle, was once just an unseen idea clothed in feeling. When you imagine vividly, with faith and emotional certainty, you are planting a seed in the fertile ground of your subconscious, and like any seed, it grows according to its nature. If the feeling is one of luck, ease, divine favor, then the outer world will eventually express that nature. But the feeling must be accepted as real before it can take shape. The challenge, then, is not in forcing the world to cooperate. It is in convincing your own inner self to accept a new state of being. To assume the feeling of luck is to walk through life as if you carry a hidden light within you, one that draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing. This is not arrogance, and it is not delusion. It is inner certainty. A calm, unshakable conviction that things are always working in your favor. It is to live with the awareness that every step you take is supported by unseen forces. Even when something appears to go wrong, you hold to the inner knowing that it is simply a hidden blessing in disguise. The world responds to this inner confidence not because it is trying to reward you, but because it is you projecting your belief into the canvas of experience. Feeling lucky means you don't dwell in doubt. You don't rehearse worst-case scenarios. You don't question whether you deserve good things. You simply know on a deep, intuitive level that life bends to your belief, and so you act accordingly. You speak with gratitude for things not yet seen. You carry yourself with the poise of someone who is loved by the universe. You greet each day not with dread, but with a quiet anticipation of good surprises. The world then reflects your tone. It matches your mood. It imitates your inner atmosphere. The real work is internal. It requires you to feel lucky when nothing seems to be working. It asks you to sit in silence and generate the sensation of things going your way, even as the evidence seems to contradict you. This is not denial, it is creation. It is understanding that feeling is the substance from which your future is molded. When you can close your eyes and enter the emotional reality of already being lucky, of having the right breaks, the right timing, the right answers, you are setting the stage for its outer expression. Do not wait for life to give you a reason to feel fortunate. Become the cause of that feeling, and life will echo it back to you. Let imagination guide you. Let it fill your mind with the mood of certainty. Live as though you are guided, chosen, blessed. As you maintain that feeling, it will crystallize into experience. The world is not random, it is a mirror. And when you assume the feeling of luck, you are not faking, it is faithing. And faith, sustained, becomes fact. Luck is not some mysterious force that visits a few chosen individuals while ignoring the rest. It is not a cosmic accident or a roll of dice determined by fate. Rather, it is a state of consciousness, a psychological atmosphere, a self-selected point of view that you can deliberately enter and dwell in. This is the deeper truth that many overlook. You are not at the mercy of luck. You are the generator of it, the initiator of its movement into your life. Your state of being is not fixed. It is fluid, dynamic, and fully under your control. You can choose to be in a state of lack or a state of abundance. You can live from a state of struggle or a state of grace. The choice is always yours, and luck, like every other condition of life, responds to that inner choice. States are not just moods or fleeting emotions. They are comprehensive mental positions, combinations of beliefs, assumptions, and feelings from which you think, act, and react. When you adopt a state, everything you perceive flows through the lens of that state. In a state of luck, you expect favorable outcomes. You carry an inner knowing that things are lining up in your favor, even if the outer world hasn't yet caught up. You don't wait to be proven right. You live as though you are. In this way, you condition your subconscious mind to accept luck as your natural companion. Most people allow their state to be chosen for them by the external world. A missed opportunity, a setback, a discouraging word from someone else, and instantly their state shifts to one of defeat, scarcity, or self-doubt. But you are not meant to be reactive. You are meant to be creative. You are meant to select your state deliberately and occupy it persistently, regardless of what the outer world is currently reflecting. Because here is the paradox. The outer world reflects the inner state, not the other way around. To change what you experience, you must first change what you are being. This is not about pretending or forcing a false optimism. It is about tuning your inner awareness to a frequency that matches the life you desire. Choosing a state is not effortful, it is intentional. It is a quiet decision made in imagination. When you declare inwardly, I am a person to whom good things naturally flow, you are not just making a wish, you are selecting a state. And when that declaration is backed by feeling, when it moves from mere thought to deep conviction, it begins to shape your reality. You don't need external permission to feel lucky. You don't need a sign, a coincidence, or a special day. All you need is the willingness to enter into the feeling of that luck and to claim it as your natural state. What follows is not magic, it is law. You will begin to notice synchronicities, effortless connections, opportunities arriving seemingly out of nowhere. But they are not random. They are drawn to the frequency you now embody. Every day you are presented with countless opportunities to shift your state. A new thought, a new assumption, a different reaction to an old problem. All of these are openings through which you can move into a higher experience. And when you find the state of being that feels aligned, life begins to feel fluid, harmonious, even lucky. You are not stuck. You are not a victim of chance. The power to live as a fortunate person lies within you now. Choose the state. Sustain it. Return to it when you stray. And eventually, the world will rise to meet the reality you've chosen to be. There is immense power in the way you speak, not just to others, but to yourself. Your words are not just sounds. They are creative forces that shape your inner world and, by reflection, your outer experience. When you speak as one who knows, you align your consciousness with certainty, with completion, with the reality of what you desire as already fulfilled. This is not mere positive thinking. It is not surface-level optimism. It is the deliberate use of language to stabilize your inner state and to claim dominion over your world. But the person who speaks as one who knows does not beg, wish, or plead. They do not say, I hope it works out, or maybe I'll be lucky today. They say, things are always working out for me, or I am always in the right place at the right time. They speak from the end, not toward it. Their words match the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and in doing so, those words take on the texture of reality. Your inner dialogue, what you whisper to yourself in moments of silence, sets the tone for your entire life. If you walk through your day silently saying, I'm not good enough, this probably won't work, nothing ever goes right for me, then you are constantly reinforcing a state of limitation and misfortune. The universe, being a mirror, simply reflects that tone back to you. But if you shift the inner conversation, if you begin to affirm that you are guided, blessed, chosen, and lucky, you will start to witness a change, not just in your mood, but in your outcomes. To speak as one who knows is to claim your identity in advance. You don't wait for evidence to declare it. You declare it, and then the evidence begins to appear. You don't say, I hope I'll be successful someday. You say, success is who I am. You don't say, maybe things will turn around. You say, things are turning in my favor now. These statements are not lies, they are seeds. Spoken with conviction, they take root in the subconscious mind and begin to grow into actual experiences. It is easy to speak from doubt. It is common to echo the language of fear and worry. But transformation comes when you choose a higher tone. When your words carry the vibration of certainty, they activate a different energy in you. That energy influences your posture, your decisions, your expectations, and ultimately your reality. People respond to that tone. It is not because the world has changed. It is because you have changed the way you speak and the state from which you speak. Every time you affirm that you are in the right place at the right time, you bring yourself into alignment with divine timing. You become sensitive to signs, open to guidance, and resilient in the face of delay. You no longer see missed chances, you see redirection. You no longer feel like life is against you. You recognize that life is orchestrating something better than you imagined. And the more you affirm this, the more you begin to feel it. And as you feel it, you begin to live it. The shift becomes visible. Let your words reflect who you choose to be, not what you fear you are. Let your inner dialogue be filled with declarations of purpose, power, and peace. You don't need to shout. You don't need to convince anyone else. But you must convince yourself. Speak from the end. Speak as if the answer has already come. Speak with the tone of one who knows they are supported, guided, and divinely favored. Your world will not be able to resist responding in kind. There comes a moment in every life when the power of decision reveals itself as the turning point. a quiet internal choice that shifts everything, not because the world immediately changes, but because you do. Decision is not a reaction to circumstances. It is a command issued from the center of your being. And in the case of becoming the luckiest person in the world, it begins with a single unwavering decision. I am lucky. Life favors me. Everything is working for my good. This decision is not based on past evidence or the current state of things. It is not something you earn. It is not granted by fortune or karma or chance. It is chosen. And in the act of choosing, you step into a new state of consciousness, a new identity. That is where all transformation begins. Nothing happens until you decide, but once you do, once you commit to the feeling of being blessed, guided, and favored, life begins to rearrange itself around your new self-concept. Many wait for change to arrive before they give themselves permission to feel different. They say, I'll feel lucky when something lucky happens to me. But this is a misunderstanding of how reality is shaped. Waiting is passive. Decision is creative. When you wait, you are declaring that you are not in control. When you decide, you claim authorship of your experience. That choice, made consciously and with feeling, carries the energy of command. It sends a clear instruction to your subconscious mind and to the field of reality. This is who I am now. The decision is not about forcing the world to comply. It's about entering the world from a new vibration. You begin to see yourself differently. You speak differently. You walk through life expecting good, anticipating beauty, prepared to receive. And that inner shift naturally alters your perception. You become more aware of opportunities. You attract people and events that reflect your inner tone. You respond to difficulties with resilience rather than defeat. Why? Because you have decided that you are lucky. And so, even your challenges must serve you. This is the great secret. Decision alters perception, and perception alters reality. Once you identify as someone to whom good things happen, you begin to interpret the world through that lens. An unexpected detour becomes divine timing. A delay becomes protection. A closed door becomes redirection. You are no longer a victim of randomness. You are a participant in a deeper orchestration, one that bends to the authority of your assumption. The decision itself does not require a loud declaration. It does not need applause or recognition. It is a silent, powerful shift that takes place in the heart. A moment of inner agreement that says, I no longer align with struggle. I no longer identify with misfortune. I choose to live as one who is favored by life. And when you return to that decision daily, it begins to harden into fact. You may have been told that life happens to you, but once you realize that life happens through you, everything changes. Decision is the doorway. It is the ignition key. It turns potential into motion. Until you decide, your desire remains a concept. But the moment you choose, the moment you become, reality begins to move. New people appear. Unexpected blessings arise. Synchronicities increase. Why? Because you have finally said yes to a higher version of yourself. It is not that you become lucky because of one big event. You become lucky because you repeatedly choose to identify as lucky in small, quiet moments. When you wake up in the morning, you decide again. When you face a challenge, you decide again. When you feel doubt creeping in, you decide again. That consistent decision builds a new identity, and that identity shapes a new world. Most people never make the decision. They wait. They hope. They dabble in change without ever fully claiming it. But those who dare to choose, even in the absence of evidence, are the ones who shift the course of their lives. Decision does not mean you have all the answers. It simply means you've chosen your direction. And once you choose, all that you need begins to align with that choice. There is no power in indecision. There is no momentum in maybe. But the moment you say, I am lucky, I am chosen, I am guided, and mean it with your whole heart, something moves. Something deep inside you begins to organize itself around that belief. And your world, being nothing more than a mirror of your self-concept, must follow. You don't wait to become the luckiest person in the world. You decide you are. And that decision, that simple but profound act of inner certainty, is what calls the evidence into form. Reality responds to clarity. It follows intention. And decision is the purest form of intention. So choose now, not with desperation, but with conviction. And the life that once seemed distant will begin to unfold at your feet. To act as if you are the best is not arrogance. It is the recognition of who you truly are beneath the layers of conditioning, doubt, and limitation. It is not pretending. It is not make-believe. It is the bold acceptance of the divine imagination in motion. What you accept as true about yourself is shaping the entire structure of your experience. When you walk into a room and assume that you are the best, not in comparison to others, but as the highest expression of your own potential, you summon the power that responds only to belief. You are not waiting to become, you are assuming you already are. The world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you the arrangement of your inner world. If you carry yourself as though you are uncertain, the world will offer you endless reasons to doubt. If you carry yourself as the embodiment of excellence, the world will shape itself to prove you right. There is no outer validation required to begin. You do not need applause to know your worth. You do not require success to feel accomplished. You only need to assume the position in imagination, and the unseen will begin to mold itself into form. All things are states of consciousness. Being the best is a state, not a title or trophy, but a feeling, a vibration, a conviction that you carry without effort. It is the quiet confidence in your step, the clarity in your speech, the certainty in your mind. The law is always unfolding from within. If you believe you are average, you will express the ordinary. If you believe you are the best, you will express the exceptional. Allah cannot be fooled, but it responds without bias to what you persist in assuming. There is no deception in imagination, only the reflection of your inner allegiance. To act as the best, you must first feel as the best. Before there is evidence, before the recognition, before the manifestation, there must be a change in the state of being. This change is not forced, it is accepted. You do not struggle into it. You relax into it. The feeling of I am precedes all form. Say to yourself, I am the best, and do not look for proof. Feel it, live from it. Let your inner speech reflect it. Let your reactions align with it. Walk through your world not hoping to become, but knowing you already are. No one else needs to see it. This is not for show. This is not about superiority over others. It is about fidelity to the truth that you are made in the image of the creative power. There is no second class within you, unless you accept it. Your mind is the workshop of the infinite. What you think, feel, and imagine, in persistent tones, becomes the fact of your reality. Acting as if you are the best means moving in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. You are not trying to get it. You are expressing from it. When you shift your identity, the world must correspond. It does not argue, it does not resist, it simply mirrors. The outer is always late, the inner is always first. And when you dare to walk, speak, breathe, and think as the one who already holds the vision fulfilled, then all the bridges will be laid before you and everything necessary will move, often invisibly, to support your new assumption. Not because you hoped, not because you begged, but because you believe. You are not becoming, you are revealing. The best version of you is already present in consciousness, waiting for your attention and your permission. The only thing between you and that reality is your refusal to assume it now. Do not wait. Do not postpone. Claim it. Live it. Let your days be saturated with the assumption that you are already the one you desire to be. Speak with that energy. Dress with that attitude. Move through the world with that confidence. Let your imagination lead you into the state where being the best is no longer a desire, It is a natural expression of your I am. To assume that you are the best is to understand the power that lies within your own consciousness. Assumption is not about hoping or pretending. It is about claiming a reality in the unseen and walking as though it is already yours. The moment you accept something in your imagination as true, even if the world shows no evidence of it yet, you begin to set the creative power of life into motion. Everything in your external world bends to match the inner world you have accepted. Assumption creates reality not because of force, but because your world cannot help but reflect what you persistently and faithfully feel to be true about yourself. When you wake up in the morning and assume you are the best, without comparison, without ego, without needing to shout it, you are aligning with the divine essence that resides in you. You are no longer reaching for validation, but resting in the quiet, knowing that you already are what you desire to be. In that state, the world begins to respond in ways you could never orchestrate. People show up differently. Opportunities appear, circumstances unfold, not because you are chasing them, but because you are embodying a version of yourself that naturally attracts them. It is the inner assumption that magnetizes the outer world. To believe you are the best does not mean you ignore reality. It means you refuse to give your power away to it. The world as it is now is simply a result of previous assumptions, old beliefs, repeated thoughts, accepted limitations. What is seen is a reflection of what was once believed. But what is imagined now and what is assumed now has the power to shape what will be seen tomorrow. This is the divine law that governs all creation, and you are the one using it, whether consciously or unconsciously. When you deliberately assume the highest for yourself, you are no longer reacting to appearances. You are commanding the unseen to take shape in your favor. Assumption is not wishful thinking. It is not about repeating empty affirmations or forcing positivity. It is the act of dwelling in a state of being before it becomes visible. It requires inner conviction, persistence, and faith in the unseen. You do not assume once and expect fireworks. You assume consistently, until the feeling becomes natural, until the new belief is more real to you than what your senses report. The world responds to that level of belief. It does not argue, it does not reason, it simply reflects. The feeling that I am the best may at first feel unfamiliar. You might encounter resistance, voices of doubt, memories of past failures, but none of that matters unless you choose to believe it. Assumption is not concerned with facts. It is concerned with truth. And the truth is, you are not defined by the past. You are not limited by current circumstances. You are only bound by what you accept. If you continue to assume the same old things, you will live the same old life. But if you dare to assume differently, boldly, joyfully, faithfully, then your life must respond with difference. It is law. There is no power outside of your assumption. Everything you experience is rooted in your concept of self. If you see yourself as inadequate, unworthy, or average, the world will confirm those ideas again and again. But the moment you shift your assumption and say, I am the best, and you live from that awareness, not in arrogance, but in calm confidence, you begin to move differently. You make decisions differently. You speak with certainty, you carry yourself with energy, and slowly, subtly, the world mirrors back the new state. It is never the world that changes first. It is always the assumption. You must understand that assumption operates through feeling. You can speak words all day, but if they are not backed by inner conviction, they will be hollow. Feeling is the creative force behind the word. When you assume you are the best, you must feel the ease of being it, not the pressure to prove it, but the peace of knowing it. You are not competing with others. You are not waiting for someone to tell you that you have arrived. You are walking in the fullness of your imagined self and allowing that state to express itself effortlessly through you. Imagination is the womb of reality, and assumption is the seed you plant. Every time you return to the feeling of being the best, you are watering that seed. And if you persist, despite what the world shows, despite what the senses report, you will eventually see the harvest. It is not magic, it is law. What you accept inwardly must be born outwardly. The delay is only in your belief, your doubt, your tendency to check for results. But the moment you accept fully and walk away in faith, you have done the work. The world must now catch up. There is no need to strain, no need to beg, no need to hustle for recognition. You simply move as the one who knows, the one who is certain, the one who has assumed the role before it was visible, and from that certainty, the world bends. That's why assumption is so powerful, because it doesn't require anything external to begin. It asks only for inner agreement. Do you agree to see yourself differently? Do you agree to live from a higher place within? Do you agree to assume the best and embody it, even when there's no sign? If so, then your transformation is inevitable, because you are working with the eternal law of consciousness, and consciousness creates all. It all begins with a feeling. Before the world rearranges itself, before circumstances change, before anyone notices a shift, there is a quiet stirring within. That feeling is the root of all creation. You are not trying to get something to happen out there. You are moving inward, aligning your internal state with the reality you wish to express. When you feel yourself to be the best, even when nothing around you supports that idea, you have tapped into the secret place of power. That feeling becomes your anchor. It becomes your compass. It becomes your atmosphere. There is nothing more important than the feeling you carry. It is the creative essence that shapes your life experience. You do not create by force or by effort, you create by vibration, by occupying the inner emotional space of your desire already fulfilled. That means when you act as if you are the best, it's not about acting in a performative way. It's about cultivating the quiet, steady, unwavering feeling of already being it. You're not looking for evidence to feel it. You feel it first, and the evidence comes later. Always later. Feeling is the cause, form is the effect. Most people live in reverse. They wait to feel successful until the world tells them they are. They wait to feel worthy until someone else validates their value. They wait to feel confident until they're given permission to shine. But the law of creation works the other way. You must feel the reality within before it ever becomes a visible fact. You must rehearse the state internally until it feels natural. Only then will it begin to move into expression. That's why the feeling is the secret. It is not optional. It is not extra. It is the doorway through which all manifestation must pass. When you begin to feel that you are the best, you are no longer questioning, doubting, or hesitating. There is a natural stillness in your spirit, a calm authority. You're not trying to prove anything. You're simply living from a new truth. And in that feeling, your imagination becomes alive. Your inner conversations change. The energy in your body shifts. Even the way you perceive time and space softens, because you are no longer trying to escape the moment. You are now fully immersed in the reality of who you have become. The feeling leads you. It moves ahead of you. It draws all things into harmony with itself. The mind may rebel at first. It may say, you can't feel that. You haven't done anything yet. But this is not about facts. This is about truth. And the only truth that matters is what you accept within. You are always allowed to feel the state you desire. It is your divine right. And once you stop waiting for permission and begin feeling as though it's already yours, you step into the creative flow that makes all things possible. It's not about effort. It's about alignment. When the inner world matches your desire, the outer must follow, because they are not separate. They are one continuous stream of expression. To feel as if you are the best does not mean comparing yourself to others. It means embodying your unique expression of excellence. It means standing tall in your own authenticity. It means recognizing that you were never meant to be average, to blend in, to shrink. You were made to express the fullness of the divine through your own being. And that begins with feeling it. Feeling is not something that needs to be forced. It only needs to be chosen. Again and again, in every moment where the old state tries to return, you simply choose again. Choose to feel as if it's already done. Choose to feel as if you've already arrived. Choose to feel as if the victory is behind you, and now you are simply walking it out. This internal atmosphere becomes your magnet. It draws people, ideas, resources, and circumstances that align with the state you are radiating. Not because you are chasing them, but because you are resonating with them. Everything is vibration, and the strongest vibration always wins. If you are vibrating at the level of doubt, insecurity, and lack, no matter how much you say you want more, you are repelling it. But if you are vibrating in the frequency of worthiness, confidence, and ease, the world must bring you what matches that signal. Feeling is not a weak or passive thing. It is the most powerful creative force you possess. You do not need to wait for the right moment to feel it. The moment you decide is the right moment. You could be sitting in a room with nothing but silence around you and still activate the feeling of being the best. It does not require an audience. It does not require applause. It only requires willingness. The willingness to let go of the need for proof and step into the realm of knowing. When you know something, you don't chase it. You don't plead for it. You don't doubt it. You live from it. And the more you return to that knowing, the more it stabilizes into your nervous system, your energy field, your daily choices. It becomes who you are. You are not trying to become the best. You are remembering that you already are. Feeling is the bridge between who you think you are and who you truly are. When you allow the feeling to dominate, everything else begins to change. The way people respond to you shifts. The way opportunities appear shifts. Even the way time seems to stretch or compress shifts. Because you are no longer operating from the density of limitation. You are now living from the lightness of truth. The truth that you are not waiting for life, you're shaping it. You are not hoping for favor, you are living as one already favored. To feel that you are the best is to rest in the satisfaction of being chosen by yourself. You choose you. You approve of you. You honor you. And that feeling creates a field of certainty around you. It moves through your voice. It shows in your posture. It glows in your presence. Not as ego, but as essence. You become magnetic, not because you are trying, but because you are being. That's the difference. You are not reaching outward. You are radiating from within. And what you feel within is the key to everything that unfolds without. The feeling is the cause. The world is the echo. Let your feeling declare it now. You are already the best. You always were. The world you see is not fixed, not final, not independent of you. It is fluid, responsive, and obedient to the assumptions you hold about yourself. It reflects not your hopes or your words alone, but the deep and often silent beliefs you carry within. When you begin to act as if you are the best, not in arrogance, but in divine remembrance of your power, the world must mirror that identity. It cannot help but yield to the vibration you broadcast. Life has no choice but to conform to the image you consistently hold in consciousness. Because life itself is animated by your state of being. Your entire experience is shaped by what you believe you are. If you see yourself as invisible, life will ignore you. If you see yourself as second best, you will always watch others rise before you. If you see yourself as someone trying to become, then becoming will forever stay just out of reach. But when you shift that inner narrative and begin to dwell in the state of, I am the best, something profound begins to happen. You walk differently, think differently, speak differently. And this difference is not unnoticed by the world. It reacts to you as though something has changed, because something has. Every person you meet, every opportunity that crosses your path, every challenge that arises is colored by the consciousness you bring to it. You do not encounter a neutral world. You encounter a world filtered through your own assumptions. And if your assumption is rooted in worthiness, excellence, capability, and confidence, then everything begins to echo that frequency. People speak to you with more respect. Doors open seemingly without effort. Synchronicities increase. What felt like resistance in the past starts to dissolve. This is not coincidence. This is the outpicturing of the new state you've chosen to embody. When you act from the state of being the best, you no longer react to life, you create from it. You stop looking for proof and start moving in purpose. You do not shrink in the presence of others. Instead, you shine without apology. You stop negotiating with doubt and begin living with clarity. The world is always watching, not with eyes, but with vibration. It responds not to what you say, but to who you are being. You can speak humble words, but if your energy is regal, the world will treat you accordingly. You can say nothing at all, and still your presence can change a room, because you are radiating from a deeper truth. This is the mystery most overlook. The world reflects your inner atmosphere. It does not argue, it does not debate, it simply conforms. And if you change your inner weather, the landscape of your life will change to match. If you want to see new results, you must operate from a new place. You cannot bring the old self into a new reality and expect anything to stay different. You must become the one who belongs in the world you desire. You must dwell in that state until the world can no longer ignore your vibration. It will bend, it must, because you are the operant power. This reflection principle works in all things. In relationships, if you carry the belief that you are unworthy, you will attract those who treat you as such. If you believe you are deeply lovable and magnetic, people will respond to that even if they cannot explain why. In career or business, if you assume you are small, the world will keep you hidden. If you assume you are the best, without resistance, without needing to shout it, opportunities will arise that honor that assumption. This is not magic, it is law. You are always being reflected back to yourself. Many seek to change the world without changing their self-concept. They try to shift the mirror without changing the face that looks into it. But the mirror is not autonomous. It is loyal to you. If you wish to see a new image, you must become that image internally. You must become the best in your own awareness. Not someday, now. Not when others agree, now. Not when you've earned it in outer terms, now. The assumption alone is what shifts the reflection. When the state changes, the facts must follow. There is no exception to this rule. This means your job is not to fix the world, argue with it, or convince it of your value. Your only job is to inhabit the feeling that you already are everything you seek to be. From that place, your actions become inspired, your speech becomes intentional, your presence becomes magnetic. There is no longer any contradiction between your inner world and the outer one. They are aligned, and in that alignment, manifestation flows. You must guard your inner state with care. Do not let the opinions of others, the echoes of the past, or the illusions of current conditions shake you from your assumption. The world may try to tempt you back into old beliefs. It may show you the same problems, but remember, it is only showing you what you have previously accepted, and now you are choosing something different. Do not be discouraged by delayed reflections. Hold your state, stand in it, live from it. The reflection must shift. The world cannot deny the one who knows who they are. It may try for a moment, but it cannot sustain the illusion in the presence of persistent assumption. The one who acts from the feeling of already being the best commands their environment. Not through force, but through presence. They radiate certainty, they exude clarity. And life, sensing this change in vibration, reconfigures itself to match. It does not matter what the facts say. Facts are only frozen states of consciousness. When the state changes, the facts will rearrange. This is how mountains move. Not by pushing, not by striving, but by assuming. And then walking from that place as if it is already true. That is what acting as the best truly means. It is not about showing off, it is about showing up. Fully aligned, fully convinced, fully committed to the reality you have chosen to embody. The world cannot help but reflect that. It has no will of its own. It is your mirror, and it is waiting for you to decide what image it should reflect. You are not here to become someone else. You are here to remember who you truly are. There is nothing outside of you that you need to chase in order to be great. The idea of striving to become is rooted in a belief that you are not already enough. But in truth, the best version of you is not somewhere in the future. It already exists now in your imagination, fully formed, fully complete, waiting for your recognition. When you stop searching and start revealing, the game changes entirely. You begin to live from a place of power, not effort. From knowing, not striving. From presence, not pursuit. Everything you desire to be already exists in a higher dimension of your consciousness. That version of you that feels confident, radiant, powerful, and wise, that version is not something you need to create, it is something you need to allow. The moment you realize this, you stop trying to build yourself and start uncovering yourself. You stop looking for external transformation and begin surrendering to internal revelation. It is not about adding more. It is about removing what is not you. Doubt is not you. Fear is not you. The voice that says you are not good enough, not ready, not chosen, that voice is not the truth of you. That voice is the result of past assumptions, false identifications, and mental habits. But who you really are, the best version of you, has never been touched by any of it. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You are not unqualified. You have simply forgotten. You have believed the reflections of a world shaped by old thoughts, and because you believed it, it seemed real. But the outer world is nothing but a delayed echo of past self-concepts. When you stop investing belief in the old version of yourself and begin aligning with the truth of your higher state, the illusion begins to fade. You begin to move from power instead of pain. You begin to walk in a calm certainty, not because the world has changed, but because your awareness has. You are not required to work hard to become what you already are. The struggle is only necessary when you resist your natural state, when you fight against your own worth. But the moment you accept, truly accept, that the best is already within, the tension dissolves. There is a sense of ease. You no longer operate from need or insecurity. You operate from fullness. And in that fullness, your actions become inspired. Your decisions become clear. You stop reacting and start responding. You begin to live not as someone trying to get somewhere, but as someone who is already there, expressing that truth moment by moment. Revealing the best version of yourself means trusting your imagination more than your senses. It means living from the unseen rather than the seen. The world may still show the old patterns for a while, but that does not matter. You are not looking to the world for confirmation. You are living from the inner conviction that you have already become. This is the key to transformation. Not to act like you are something you are not, but to act from the truth that you are. It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything. One is rooted in pretending, the other is rooted in being. And being is always now. You do not need more time. You do not need more validation. You do not need more steps. You simply need to dwell in the feeling of the one you already are. And the feeling is everything. It is not a thought. It is not a hope. It is a living, breathing state that saturates your being. You begin to carry yourself differently. You speak from a deeper place. You walk into rooms without shrinking. You make choices from trust, not fear. You stop explaining yourself. You stop proving yourself. Because when you know who you are, you no longer require agreement. The process of revealing is quiet. It happens in the unseen spaces of your mind and heart. No one else needs to know what you are doing. No one else needs to see the shift for it to be real. It is real because you feel it. It is real because you accept it. And once you do, the world begins to conform. That is the law. There is no outer power controlling your life. You are the cause. You are the center. And once you align with the highest image of yourself, the rest must follow. Your world will begin to shape itself to fit the new self you have claimed. This is not about acting superior or pretending to be something you're not. It's about surrendering to the part of you that never stopped being whole. It's about letting go of the masks, the fears, the defenses, and letting your true self come forward. The self that is calm, sure, radiant, unstoppable. The self that does not doubt because it knows. And when you live from that self, everything changes. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped fighting your own greatness. The best version of you doesn't need to be constructed, it needs to be uncovered. And the more you return to that truth, through feeling, imagination, and self-remembrance, the more natural it becomes, until one day you realize you're no longer trying to become anything. You're simply being, and being in its purest form is the ultimate power. It is where all transformation begins, not with striving, but with remembering, not with force, but with awareness. not with effort, but with surrender to the truth that everything you seek to become is already who you are. To live from the end is to no longer wait, to no longer wish, to no longer try. It is to stand mentally and emotionally in the place where your desire is already fulfilled, and from that place think, speak, move, and feel. It is to bypass appearances, to disregard conditions, to step out of the sensory evidence of the present and into the unseen certainty of the fulfilled state. Living from the end is not something you do once and forget. It is a daily practice of consciousness, a sustained inner conviction that what you have imagined is already yours and must now unfold in perfect order. When you live from the end, you are no longer looking for proof. You are not waiting for signs, not testing to see if it's working. You have already received, not with your hands, but with your inner acceptance. You live in the knowing that the thing desired is complete in consciousness, and therefore it must become complete in form. The outer world is not cause, it is effect. And if you hold to the inner cause long enough, without contradiction, without falling back into doubt, the outer effect will appear with certainty. The law is exact and unfailing. This principle is simple but profound. You must mentally inhabit the reality you wish to experience until it becomes your natural state. This means feeling now what you would feel then, thinking now how you would think then, speaking now how you would speak then, not in pretense, but in presence. You must not wait for the world to tell you it is done. You must be the one who already knows it is done. That shift is where creation begins to take shape. You are not reacting to the world anymore, you are causing it from within. To live from the end requires discipline of attention. The mind wants to wander, to return to the old self, to look at current circumstances and say, but nothing has changed. But you must persist in the assumption, you must remain faithful to the unseen. Imagination must become more real to you than facts. You are not concerned with how it will happen. You are not interested in when. You simply move through your days with the inner tone of certainty, as if what you desire is already so. That certainty becomes the vibration that draws all elements into place. Living from the end is not passivity. It is not sitting back and waiting. It is participation with your future self. You are merging with the version of you that already has what you want. From that state, your thoughts become aligned. Your words carry power. Your body language shifts. You begin to make choices that naturally belong to someone who already is what they once desired to be. You are not forcing action. You are responding to the inner reality that already feels complete. That is the true meaning of inspired action. It arises naturally from the fulfilled state. There is nothing outside of you that determines your outcome. The only thing that matters is where you dwell internally. If you keep living from the place of waiting, hoping, and striving, your life will reflect that perpetual distance. But when you step into the end, when you claim it as now, the delay begins to collapse. Reality starts to bend. The world reconfigures itself, sometimes invisibly, to match your new frequency. Not because you begged, not because you worked harder, but because you finally aligned with the truth that your desire is already yours in the unseen. This principle has no exceptions. It applies to all things: health, wealth, love, freedom, success. Everything begins within. You must first be in order to see. You must walk through your world as if the change has already occurred. You do not need to fake it. You do not need to convince others. You only need to convince yourself. And that conviction comes through repetition, imagination, and feeling. When the new state becomes familiar, when it feels like home, the outer world must reflect it, like a mirror reflects your face. You cannot fool this law. You cannot hold two opposing states and expect clarity. You cannot say you believe and still dwell in doubt. You cannot declare it is done and still react with fear. You must live in one state fully, and the only state that leads to fulfillment is the state of the end. Not the journey toward it, not the waiting room outside of it, but the place where it already is. That is the doorway through which all transformation flows. Your job is not to figure it out. Your job is to remain faithful to the vision and to carry yourself as one who has already arrived. Living from the end is a sacred posture of trust. It is an inner knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen. You no longer need the senses to agree. You no longer check constantly for evidence. You have made your decision, and now you are letting the world rise to meet it. This kind of faith is not blind. It is creative. It builds the bridge of incidents that move you from where you are to where you feel you already are. The feeling is the key, and when the feeling becomes dominant, when it saturates your imagination and settles into your body, the outer world must obey. There is no need to manipulate the external. There is no benefit in trying to speed things up. You do not plant a seed and dig it up every day to see if it is growing. You plant it, water it, and trust the unseen process. So too with your assumptions. Once you accept them as done, you do not need to monitor them. You live from the peace of already having received, and in that peace you become magnetic. The world moves for the one who does not waver. The doors open for the one who already walks as if they belong inside. To live from the end is the ultimate act of self-honoring. It says, I am worthy now, I am ready now, I am it now. And when you declare that with your entire being, not just with words, but with presence, the universe responds. You are not creating something new. You are selecting from the infinite. And what you select in imagination, what you accept as yours, must eventually harden into fact. You do not need to force it. You only need to remain there. Remain in the feeling, remain in the state, remain in the end. Let that be your home, and the world will build itself around it. You do not become lucky, you are lucky. You do not earn miracles, you are the miracle. The moment you begin to relax into this truth, life reshapes itself around your awareness. The outer world, which seems so solid, so real, is but a shadow, a reflection of the inner state you entertain. And when you entertain the feeling of being fortunate, when you dwell in the assumption that everything is always working in your favor, that becomes your experience. Not because the world changes first, but because you do. The secret is not in striving, struggling, or proving your worth. The secret is in stillness, in the quiet knowing that all things are being added unto you. Your fortune isn't somewhere out there waiting to be found. It is already within, waiting for your recognition. The treasure was never buried in the world. It was buried in your consciousness, in your ability to accept that you are the favored one, the chosen one, the divinely supported one. Every breath you take is evidence of this miraculous luck. The body functions, the heart beats, the sun rises, all without your effort. Do you think the larger matters of your life are different? Do you believe your purpose, your abundance, your relationships, or your healing requires strain? No. They only require your consent. And you consent by imagining, by feeling, by knowing within yourself that you already are what you used to hope to become. The moment you stop resisting, the moment you release the compulsive need to make things happen, the world moves in ways that astonish you. Things fall into place. People appear. Doors open. It is not because you fought harder. It is because you remembered the truth. You are already the embodiment of divine favor. There is nothing accidental about your existence. Awaiting your desires are not random. They are messages from the unseen world, showing you what is already yours in another realm, waiting to unfold in time. When you feel lucky, the world confirms it. When you feel blessed, the world mirrors it. This is not superstition, this is law. The law of consciousness is exact. As within, so without. When you entertain the idea that you are already living in the center of grace, you begin to see evidence of it everywhere you turn. And it happens not because you forced it, but because you relaxed into it. Because you stopped doubting and started dwelling in the state of already having. You are not waiting for your lucky break, you are the lucky break. You are not chasing miracles, you are the miracle in motion. So rest. Not in weakness, but in power. Rest in the certainty that your imagination is the creative force behind all appearances. Rest in the assurance that every time you assume you are lucky, you're planting seeds of ease, joy, and favor in the field of consciousness. And those seeds must grow, they must take shape, they must reflect your inner acceptance. You do not have to beg for what is already yours. You only need to claim it in the silence of your mind. Sit still and feel the truth of this. Everything you want is already given. Everything you seek is seeking you. drawn magnetically by the feeling you nurture within. When you walk as if you are blessed, life will bless you. When you speak as if you are favored, life will favor you. When you relax, life begins to reveal the miracle you have always been. You are already the miracle you seek. Luck is your natural state, not something to chase. This truth is hidden from the one who looks outward for validation. The world will never confirm your worth until you do. The miracle you're waiting for is not in a future event, a special person, or a divine intervention. The miracle is you, right now, as you are. Before you lift another finger, before you fix another flaw, before you chase another goal, the miracle is embedded in your awareness, in your very being. It is not earned, not granted, and certainly not withheld. It is constant and complete, waiting only for your recognition. From the moment you were born, you carried within you the pattern of fulfillment. Just as an acorn contains the pattern of the mighty oak, you hold within yourself the blueprint of every desire you'll ever have. You are not separate from the fulfillment of those desires. You are their origin. The problem is that we've been taught to reverse the order. We've been taught that things must happen externally first, and only then are we allowed to feel fortunate, grateful, or fulfilled. But that is the grand illusion. The truth is, the feeling must come first. The knowing must precede the manifestation. This is why you can meet someone who has everything and still feels empty, and another who appears to have little and walks in quiet, radiant confidence. The difference is not their conditions, but their consciousness. To realize you are already the miracle is to no longer strive in desperation. It is to abandon the false idea that you must prove your worth to receive goodness. The truth is that you are goodness. You are the evidence of divine favor in motion. You are the proof that life is already working. Look at your body. It breathes without your effort. Your heart beats without your command. Your cells regenerate. Your wounds heal. Your thoughts come and go. You are sustained by a force greater than logic. And yet we often overlook this daily miracle in search of some grand reward. But what if the grand reward was the awareness that nothing is missing? You have been conditioned to believe that luck is random, reserved for the chosen few, bestowed upon those who are either exceptional or privileged. But luck is not random. It is not rare. It is a natural consequence of alignment with your true nature. And your true nature is abundance. When you begin to accept that you are already the recipient of divine order, you stop seeking and start allowing. You stop chasing and start receiving. You stop doubting and start remembering. The remembrance is the key. It awakens the part of you that was never asleep, only ignore. To feel miraculously lucky is to tune yourself to the frequency of the already accomplished. You don't ask, when will it happen? You ask instead, how does it feel now that it has happened? And you live from that inner assurance. That feeling becomes the magnet. That conviction becomes the command. It doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you know what shapes reality. Reality is not the master. It is the servant of your inner state. It bends, stretches, and molds itself to fit the container of your imagination. So when you feel lucky, when you truly believe you are favored, supported, and blessed, reality cannot help but reflect that belief. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. You will meet people who see your light. You will stumble into opportunities that feel too perfect to be planned. But it won't be random. It will be the outpicturing of the assumption you have chosen to dwell in. When you rest in the idea that you are already lucky, you give up the burden of needing to fix, force, or fight your way through life. This does not mean that effort becomes meaningless. It means that effort becomes joyful, effortless in its own way, because it is no longer rooted in lack. When you believe you are already lucky, you approach action from fullness rather than need. You write because you are inspired, not because you're desperate to be seen. You serve because you are overflowing, not because you are trying to earn your place. You give because you know there is always more. You speak because your voice matters, not because you're trying to convince others of your value. To walk through life with this inner knowing is to walk in grace. You stop measuring your worth by your productivity. You stop asking the world to reflect something you don't yet believe about yourself. And slowly, the outer begins to mirror the inner, because it must. Because consciousness is the only cause. You may be tempted to dismiss this as wishful thinking, but look around. Everything man-made you see began in imagination. Every structure, every invention, every miracle story, it all started with someone seeing the unseen and daring to believe it was already done. Your life is no different. What you call luck is simply the visible result of invisible alignment. When you accept that you are the miracle, you move through life with a quiet power. You do not rush. You do not beg. You do not worry. You know that what is yours cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. You understand that the entire universe is rigged in your favor, not because you are better, but because you have chosen to remember. You see the world not as an obstacle course, but as a mirror, and in this mirror you begin to see reflected back the truth you dared to assume, that you are already divinely guided, divinely held, and divinely lucky. The outer world mirrors the inner assumption. Feeling lucky internally manifests visible favor. Everything you see around you, your relationships, your finances, your health, your opportunities, is a direct expression of the state of consciousness you occupy. It is not circumstance that shapes awareness, but awareness that shapes circumstance. The world does not operate independently of your thoughts and feelings. It responds with absolute precision to the tone of your inner dialogue. What you accept as true within yourself becomes what you experience as real without. This is not metaphor, nor is it a poetic abstraction. It is law. Consciousness is the only reality. Every condition you call fact, every event you describe as fate, every coincidence you label as luck, all of it flows from the state you have assumed to be yours. The moment you believe that you are lucky, that unseen forces are working on your behalf, that life conspires in your favor, you shift the foundation from which all else flows. You may not see it instantly, but the unseen is always forming the scene. The change begins within and reveals itself in time. What most fail to understand is that the assumption itself is the cause. We have been conditioned to wait for evidence before we believe. But the creative power of the universe works in reverse. Belief creates evidence. To feel lucky before there is reason to feel lucky is not self-deception, it is self-creation. The feeling comes first, and the outer must correspond. The person who walks through life with the certainty that they are blessed will encounter blessings. The one who assumes favor will meet favor. The world will rearrange itself to match the script you silently handed. You do not need to convince others. You do not need to persuade the world. You only need to dwell in the state of already being the lucky one. That dwelling, that inner atmosphere becomes the seed from which all else grows. And the world cannot help but show you what you have already chosen to believe. The people you meet, the calls you receive, the doors that open, they are not arbitrary. They are drawn to the assumption you carry, like a magnet draws iron. You can change the outer conditions only by changing what you persist in imagining to be true. Many seek external change by rearranging the furniture of life. New jobs, new places, new relationships, without ever changing the assumptions that created the original setting. And so the same patterns repeat, the same frustrations reappear, the same cycles continue. But the one who turns inward, who begins to revise the story they tell about themselves, who replaces the assumption of lack with the knowing of abundance, will find that the world bends to match that new vision. You are not at the mercy of the world. The world is at the mercy of your belief. When you choose to feel lucky, even in the absence of visible reason, you are planting seeds in the soil of the unseen. You are saying, I know who I am, I know what belongs to me, I know that life moves for me, not against me. That conviction shifts the entire structure of your reality. What you once thought was blocked suddenly flows. What once seemed impossible suddenly feels inevitable. And nothing outside of you needed to change. Only your self-concept. Only the feeling you consented to occupy. Do not mistake this for fantasy. It is the most practical truth you can live by, because it frees you from waiting. It liberates you from depending on outer facts to feel inner peace. It returns the power to its rightful place, your imagination, your assumption, your feeling. And from this power, you begin to live deliberately. You stop reacting and start creating. You no longer plead with life, you instruct it. You no longer beg for signs, you become the sign. So feel lucky, not later, now. Not when the money comes, not when the love appears, not when the health improves. Feel it now and watch how the world begins to echo that inner conviction. Because it must. It has no choice. Reality cannot disobey the command of your dominant feeling. If you dwell in the mood of being unlucky, even temporary fortune will seem to fade. But if you persist in the assumption that everything is working in your favor, even delays will reveal hidden gifts. The difference is not in what happens, but in how you interpret it. And your interpretation determines your experience. You're always assuming something. The only question is, are you assuming by default or by design? Are you reacting to appearances, or are you choosing the state from which all appearances emerge? When you take control of your inner world, when you feel lucky without visible proof, you begin to understand that you are not here to beg for scraps of goodness. You are here to radiate it. You are here to embody it. And as you do, the outer world must confirm what the inner world already knows. So watch the world around you, not with fear or doubt, but with curiosity and delight. Observe how it shifts, how it responds, how it reflects. Let each moment be evidence that your inner state has power. Let each unfolding be a mirror that shows you what you've dared to feel. There is no luck outside of you greater than the luck you choose to feel inside. And once that choice is made, once you claim it, not as a wish but as a fact, everything begins to change, not because the world is arbitrary, but because it is faithful to the assumption you live in. Struggle is unnecessary. True creation begins in rest, stillness, and inner acceptance. The world has taught you that the harder you work, the more you earn, that sacrifice is noble, that effort equals worth, and yet there is another truth, quiet, ancient, and unwavering, that whispers from within. Creation does not require effort. It requires belief. It requires alignment with that which is already true in imagination. The moment you stop fighting for outcomes and begin to dwell in the feeling of already having, the machinery of life responds in your favor, without the force you once thought necessary. When you strive with tension, you are affirming that you do not yet have what you seek. You're broadcasting lack, desperation, and doubt into the very field that reflects your innermost state. You work to force the conditions around you, hoping they will yield to your desire, but they don't yield to pressure. They yield to certainty, to quiet knowing, to relaxed awareness. It is in that sacred space between effort and surrender where manifestation begins. Not from your hands, but from your assumption. Not from doing, but from being. You were not born to exhaust yourself chasing what is already yours in consciousness. You were born to recognize that you are the operant power, that nothing moves in your world unless it first moves in your imagination. If you can see it within and feel it as natural, the world must show it forth. This is not passive living. It is the most powerful form of action, one that stems from clarity instead of chaos, from inner peace instead of outer panic. Stillness is not inaction. It is focused presence. It is the deliberate decision to no longer react to appearances, but to live from an invisible cause. You quiet the mind not to escape life, but to take command of it. In stillness, you are not giving up. You are giving over. You are allowing a higher intelligence, the subconscious mind that shapes all experience, to take its cue from your inner feeling. And that feeling, when unburdened by fear or doubt, becomes the mold into which reality must pour itself. Rest is not laziness. It is the recognition that your true power lies not in physical movement, but in spiritual conviction. Your imagination is the womb of creation. When you assume a state and persist in it, not with tension, but with ease, you are planting seeds in the invisible realm. Those seeds grow in silence. They do not scream. They do not strain. And yet they bloom. Just like the tree does not worry whether it will bear fruit, you must learn to trust the process of assumption. Let the feeling of the wish fulfilled be your rest. Let it be the end of striving. When you sleep at night, your body restores itself. muscles relax, thoughts slow down, and healing takes place without your conscious intervention. In the same way, when you rest in the assumption that your desire is already yours, your life begins to reorganize itself around that still belief. The people you need, the circumstances that support you, the opportunities you once thought impossible. They begin to gravitate toward you, not because you chased them, but because you became the version of you who receives them with ease. This is the paradox of power. The less you try to control, the more aligned everything becomes. Not because you gave up, but because you gave in to the truth that your consciousness is the only real cause. That is why imagining in rest, assuming in stillness, is so potent. It is void of resistance. It is filled with trust. And that trust speaks louder than 1,000 anxious actions. When you no longer need to make things happen, things begin to happen through you. You no longer strain to manipulate the outer world. You dwell in the state of the fulfilled desire, and the outer world rearranges itself accordingly. True power never announces itself with noise. It moves in silence with conviction. When you observe the most miraculous shifts in life, you will notice they arrive not through force, but through flow. They come when you stop demanding and begin allowing, when you stop trying to earn and start believing you already have. This shift cannot be faked. You cannot pretend to rest while worrying underneath. True rest is the total release of resistance. It is the deep inner knowing that all is already well, and that your job is not to create the path, but to align with it. You will notice that the more you relax, the more the world begins to comply. The things you used to fight for begin to arrive naturally. The people you longed for begin to show up effortlessly. The money you needed begins to find new channels. This is not magic, this is law. A law governed by consciousness, by feeling, by the inner state you choose to occupy. As long as you live in tension, in waiting, in doubt, the world mirrors that back to you. But the moment you shift to peace, to belief, to the assumption of already done, the world shifts too. You've been taught to go and get. But the truth is, you're meant to go within and become. The external is not the source, it is the shadow. The source is always within. When you truly accept that, you will no longer exhaust yourself in pursuit of something that already belongs to you in imagination. Instead, you will rest. And in that rest you will receive. You will let go, not in defeat but in faith. And faith, when felt as real, moves mountains. Not because you push the mountain, but because you became the person for whom the mountain no longer stood in the way. Your desires are divine clues, revealing what is already yours in imagination and spirit. They do not come from outside of you, nor are they random or meaningless. Each longing, each vision, each silent wish that arises in the quiet of your heart is not a test or a tease. It is a revelation. You do not desire what is not meant for you. The very presence of the desire is evidence that the thing sought is already existing within you as a potential reality. And that potential is not static. It is waiting, breathing, alive in the invisible realm of consciousness, yearning to be born into form through your assumption. So many people believe their desires are selfish, impractical, or too big. But nothing is too big for the one who understands that imagination is limitless. If you can hold it in your mind, you can experience it in your world. The desire is not asking you to strive or beg. It is asking you to remember. It is calling you back to a state where fulfillment is not a hope, but a fact. The fact is that you are already one with what you want. The separation you feel is not real. It is an illusion created by time, doubt, and the false belief that you must earn what is already yours by right of consciousness. When you desire something, it means it already exists in another dimension of your being. You cannot long for what has no root in your inner reality. Desire is not the beginning of something new. It is the end of something already accomplished. You think you are reaching toward it, but in truth it is reaching toward you, inviting you to dwell in its vibration, to claim it without resistance, to feel it as if it were already part of your present moment. And the moment you do that, without needing proof, without delay, the bridge of incidents begins to unfold. Life becomes a response to your inner state, and the desire becomes a signpost, not of what is missing, but of what is ready to appear. You must stop treating desire as lack. It is not lack, it is fullness trying to come forward. It is spirit whispering, "This is who you are." And if you can relax into the knowing that your desire is valid, holy, and inevitable, then you will stop fighting against it and start preparing for it. You will begin to think from the end rather than toward it. You will stop asking when and start living as though it already is. Imagination is not a passive daydream. It is the creative power that shapes reality. When a desire is imagined with feeling, when it is nurtured with belief and lived with inner certainty, the world must bend to accommodate it. This is not optional, it is law. The external reflects the internal with precision, and the depth of your assumption is the measure of its outpicturing. The stronger your conviction, the clearer the pathway unfolds before you. Not because you push the world into place, but because you harmonize with the version of yourself who already has what you long for. That version of you exists now, not in some distant future, not after you fix yourself. Now, in consciousness, all possibilities exist in parallel. You are not moving linearly toward anything. You are selecting realities by choosing the state you occupy. Your desire reveals which version of you is calling you higher, and when you accept it as already done, you step into alignment with that version. And the version you look at now, you stop being the seeker and become the receiver. The desire then ceases to torment and begins to guide. It becomes the path, not the pain. You don't have to know how it will come. You don't have to explain it, justify it, or prove your readiness. The desire itself proves your readiness. It shows that within you lies the pattern, the capability, the state of being that matches the experience you wish to have. The only requirement is that you claim it internally before it appears externally. You must feel it real before the world will reflect it. This is not make-believe. It is the foundation of all manifestation. Your heart is wiser than you think. It doesn't ask for things lightly. It does not fantasize in vain. The dream that won't let you go, the desire that burns quietly through all the noise, the image that returns in your stillest moments. These are not illusions. They are signals from the greater you, the unseen self, showing you what you're here to express. And you cannot dismiss them without also dismissing your own power. Do not question whether the desire is possible. Ask instead, am I willing to live in the feeling of its fulfillment? Am I willing to let go of the identity that says, I can't have it, and step into the version of me that already does? Am I willing to trust that the desire is not an enemy to be doubted, but a message to be followed? This shift is everything. It takes you from effort to ease, from hoping to knowing, from waiting to receiving. Every fulfilled desire you've ever had followed this process, whether consciously or not. You imagined it, felt it, believed in it even a little, and then watched as it unfolded. The more deliberate you become with this process, the more miraculous your life appears to be. But it isn't luck. It isn't chance. It is the result of inner alignment. And your desires are the keys to that alignment. They are not distractions from your purpose. They reveal what you are meant to create, experience, and embody. So listen to your desires, trust them, honor them. They are not asking you to chase anything. They are asking you to assume the state where nothing is missing. And when you dwell in that state, not just briefly, but persistently, the desire moves from invisible to visible, from within to without, not because the world has changed, but because you have remembered what was already yours. There is a secret to being the luckiest person in the world, and it begins within you. Luck, as many perceive it, is not a random twist of fate or an elusive gift reserved for the fortunate few. It is a law unseen, yet steadfast, a force you can wield by understanding its principles. The first step to creating a life filled with luck is to shift your mindset. Imagine yourself as someone who is perpetually lucky. Close your eyes and picture a version of you where opportunities fall effortlessly into place, where challenges resolve themselves, and where abundance flows unceasingly. This act of imagination is not fantasy, it is the foundation of your reality. You see, the world reflects the beliefs you hold within. If you see yourself as unlucky, life will confirm it. But if you believe without doubt that luck is yours, life will bow to your certainty. Release the idea that luck is chance. It is not. What seems like coincidence is the precise unfolding of your inner state. Your thoughts and emotions act like magnets, pulling experiences into your world. Are you dwelling on scarcity or abundance? On struggle or ease? Your answer determines your luck. Now let me tell you something profound. Act as though you are already lucky. Walk with the assurance that everything you touch turns to gold. Smile as though the world conspires for your happiness. Behave as though every door you knock on opens wide. This is not arrogance, it is alignment with your higher self, the self that knows you are worthy of every blessing. Gratitude, my friends, is the multiplier of fortune. When you focus on what you have with a thankful heart, the universe responds by giving you more to be grateful for. Every morning before you rise and every night before you rest, whisper thanks for the blessings in your life. And don't just thank for the past or present, thank for the future, as if it has already arrived. Gratitude is the language of creation. Persist. Persist in the feeling of being lucky, even when outer circumstances try to sway you. Your unwavering belief, your refusal to let go of the conviction that you are favored, will bend reality to your will. The unseen forces that govern this universe respond to persistence, not doubt. Luck is not something you chase, it is something you embody. The moment you decide, truly decide, that you are the luckiest person in the world, life will confirm it. Step boldly into this truth and watch as fortune finds you at every turn. Every experience you encounter, every turn your life takes, is crafted by the unseen hands of your beliefs and expectations. To become the luckiest person in the world, you must begin with an unshakable mindset of certainty. Certainty is the foundation upon which luck is built, for what you hold as true within your mind must eventually materialize in the external world. This is not a whimsical idea, but a profound truth woven into the fabric of existence. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a master builder and every thought is a brick. The structures you erect with these bricks become the reality you inhabit. If your thoughts are scattered with doubt, fear, or hesitation, the foundation of your life becomes unstable. But when your thoughts align with certainty, when you fully expect good fortune, success, and ease, your life becomes a reflection of those expectations. Certainty creates clarity, and clarity creates manifestation. Certainty is not a passive state, it is an active choice, a deliberate decision to trust in your ability to shape your reality. When you embrace this mindset, you step into a realm where you no longer react to the world, but create it. Think of those moments in life when you were absolutely sure of an outcome, and it unfolded just as you envisioned. That is the power of certainty in action. It is not magic, it is alignment. It is the universe responding to the clarity of your intention. To cultivate this mindset, you must first examine your current beliefs. Are they supportive of the life you desire, or do they contradict your goals? Many people unknowingly sabotage themselves by entertaining beliefs that are rooted in limitation or fear. They hope for luck but secretly doubt its arrival. Certainty cannot coexist with such doubt. To embrace the mindset of certainty, you must consciously replace these limiting beliefs with empowering ones. This requires a commitment to inner transformation, to persistently feeding your mind with thoughts of abundance, success, and infinite possibilities. Certainty also requires you to let go of external validation. The world often mirrors back uncertainty and fear, but you must not be swayed by appearances. Luck begins within, it is not dictated by circumstances or the opinions of others. When you anchor yourself in the belief that you are the architect of your experiences, you become immune to external chaos. Your inner conviction becomes the compass that guides you, regardless of what unfolds around you. This mindset of certainty also invites you to act as if your desires are already fulfilled. When you believe in the inevitability of your success, your actions naturally align with that belief. You carry yourself with confidence, make choices from a place of empowerment, and radiate an energy that attracts favorable circumstances. This is not wishful thinking, it is the embodiment of a truth you have claimed for yourself. When you embrace the truth that you are the creator of your reality, you unlock the door to a life of boundless luck. The universe responds not to half-hearted hopes but to unwavering certainty. Declare your desires boldly, trust in their fulfillment, and watch as the world rises to meet your expectations. Imagination is the most powerful tool you possess, and it is the gateway to every fortune you desire. It is not a fleeting daydream or a mere mental escape, it is the creative force through which all reality is shaped. Everything you see, touch, and experience began as an idea, a vision in someone's mind before it was brought into existence. This same principle applies to your life. What you vividly imagine and believe becomes the seed from which your reality grows. To harness the power of imagination, you must first understand its creative potential. Your mind operates as a garden, fertile and ready to nurture whatever seeds you plant. Each image, thought, and feeling you hold in your imagination is a seed. When you vividly imagine yourself as the luckiest person, you are not simply entertaining a wishful thought, you are planting the seed of a new reality. But for this seed to grow, it must be nurtured with belief and persistence. When you close your eyes and vividly picture yourself as someone who attracts opportunities effortlessly, who walks through life with confidence and ease, you are activating a process that sets unseen forces in motion. The world around you begins to shift, responding to the clarity and intensity of your inner vision. This is not coincidence, it is the law of creation at work. What you see in your mind becomes a blueprint that the universe follows to arrange the details of your life. Imagination does not merely influence your external circumstances, it transforms you from within. When you repeatedly envision yourself as fortunate and favored, you start to embody that identity. Your actions become aligned with your vision, your energy changes, and you radiate confidence and optimism. This shift in your inner state naturally draws opportunities, resources, and people who resonate with the reality you are creating. Luck, then, is not something that happens to you, it is something you create from within through the power of imagination. For imagination to work as the key to fortune, it must be vivid and sustained. Casual thoughts and fleeting desires are not enough. You must immerse yourself in your vision, as though it were already true. See the details clearly. Feel the emotions of living in that reality. Experience the joy, gratitude, and excitement of being the luckiest person in the world. The more real your imagined experience feels, the stronger its pull on reality becomes. Doubt is the only obstacle to this process. If you allow conflicting thoughts to creep in, thoughts of unworthiness or disbelief, you weaken the power of your imagination. Instead, guard your vision fiercely. Let it become your refuge, a sacred space where your dreams are nurtured and your fortune is shaped. When you fully embrace the power of imagination, the world will rearrange itself to reflect your vision. It may not happen instantly, but it will happen with unwavering certainty. Trust in this process, for your imagination holds the key to every fortune you desire. You are the creator of your reality, and your vision is the seed from which all abundance flows. The idea of chance often dominates how people perceive their lives, leading them to believe that luck is a random stroke of fortune, an unpredictable blessing bestowed upon a select few. But this belief is a misunderstanding of how life truly operates. Luck is not random, it is the result of focused intention and the alignment of your inner world with your outer experiences. To transform your life and truly become lucky, you must detach from the notion of chance and embrace the truth that nothing occurs by accident. Every event in your life is a reflection of the beliefs you hold and the energy you project. Your thoughts, emotions, and expectations are like invisible architects, shaping the circumstances and encounters you experience. When you internalize this understanding, you realize that the idea of chance is an illusion. What appears to be random is, in fact, a perfectly orchestrated response to the intentions you have set, whether consciously or unconsciously. When you focus your intention, you are giving clear direction to the creative forces that govern your reality. Imagine sending out a signal into the vastness of the universe, a precise request for what you desire. This focused intention acts as a magnet, drawing to you the people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your inner state. Luck, then, is not about waiting for something fortuitous to happen, but about cultivating the right mindset and emotional state to attract the outcomes you desire. Detaching from the idea of chance requires trust. You must trust that every event, no matter how insignificant or challenging it may seem, is part of a greater design that is perfectly aligned with your inner beliefs and desires. This trust liberates you from anxiety and fear. Instead of worrying about external factors you cannot control, you focus on refining your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, and intentions. When your inner world is in harmony, your outer world will naturally reflect that harmony. This shift in perspective also empowers you to take responsibility for your life. Instead of attributing your circumstances to luck, fate, or coincidence, you recognize your role as the creator of your experiences. This responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. It means that you have the power to change your reality by changing your focus and intention. If you desire greater fortune, you need only align your thoughts and emotions with the feeling of being lucky, and life will respond accordingly. Releasing the concept of chance also allows you to approach challenges with a new perspective. Instead of seeing setbacks as random misfortunes, you recognize them as opportunities for growth, lessons designed to refine your focus and strengthen your resolve. Every event, whether joyous or difficult, serves a purpose in the unfolding of your desires. When you detach from the idea of chance, you step into the role of the deliberate creator of your life. You trust that the universe is not chaotic but responsive, and you align your intentions with the outcomes you wish to see. This is how luck is cultivated, not by waiting for it to happen, but by consciously creating it through focused intention and unwavering trust in the process. The essence of transforming your life begins with acting as if you are already the person you aspire to be. When it comes to luck, this principle holds immense power. To be lucky, you must first embody the mindset, confidence, and energy of someone who already knows that life conspires in their favor. This shift in perspective isn't about pretending or faking, it is about aligning your actions and feelings with the reality you desire so completely that the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Imagine the way a truly lucky person walks through life. They exude a quiet confidence, an unshakable belief that things will work out for the best. They don't chase opportunities in desperation because they know opportunities naturally gravitate toward them. They radiate joy, ease, and gratitude, creating an aura that attracts positive circumstances and people. This is not arrogance, but a deep trust in the flow of life, a trust you can cultivate by acting as if you too are already lucky. The key is to align your actions with the outcome you wish to experience. If you desire to be lucky, your actions must mirror the behavior of someone who already feels fortunate. Begin by shifting your posture and demeanor. Stand tall, smile more often, and carry yourself with an air of expectancy. These simple changes send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind, reinforcing the belief that you are a magnet for good fortune. Over time, this belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Acting as if you are lucky also means embracing gratitude as a daily practice. Gratitude is the language of abundance, and when you express it, you affirm that you are already in possession of good fortune. Start each day by acknowledging the blessings in your life, no matter how small they may seem. As you cultivate a grateful heart, you create a fertile environment for even greater blessings to flow into your experience. Your actions should also reflect trust in the process of life. Avoid reacting to setbacks with frustration or doubt. Instead, view them as temporary detours that are ultimately leading you to a better outcome. When you maintain your faith and continue to act in alignment with your desired reality, you demonstrate to yourself and the universe that you are unwavering in your belief. This unwavering confidence amplifies your magnetic energy, drawing more luck and opportunities to you. In your interactions with others, Act as if you are already in possession of all the success and joy you desire. Share your positive energy generously, support others in their pursuits, and speak words that uplift and inspire. When you embody the characteristics of someone who feels fortunate, you naturally attract people and circumstances that enhance your life. Acting as if you are already lucky is not about forcing outcomes or pretending to be someone you're not. It is about stepping into the reality you wish to create with such conviction that it becomes inevitable. When you carry yourself with the confidence and joy of someone who knows the universe is always working in their favor, you align with the flow of life, and luck becomes your constant companion. Gratitude is a transformative force that holds the power to multiply your fortune beyond measure. It is not merely a polite acknowledgement of the good in your life, it is a profound and active state of being that aligns your inner world with abundance. When you cultivate gratitude, you unlock a magnetic energy that draws even greater blessings and experiences into your life, reinforcing the cycle of abundance. At its core, gratitude is the recognition of the gifts already present in your life. It shifts your focus away from lack and limitation, redirecting your attention to the wealth and beauty that surround you. This shift in perspective is vital because what you focus on expands. When you choose to dwell on what you are grateful for, you amplify those aspects of your life. Gratitude is like shining a light on abundance, causing it to grow and flourish in ways that often seem miraculous. Gratitude is not limited to what you can see and touch in the present moment. It is also a powerful tool for manifesting your desires. When you express gratitude for what is yet to come, you create a mental and emotional state of expectancy. This expectancy is a form of faith, and knowing that what you desire is already on its way to you. The universe responds to this faith by aligning circumstances and events to match your vibration. Gratitude, in this sense, becomes the bridge between your current reality and the one you wish to create. To cultivate gratitude effectively, you must move beyond intellectual acknowledgement and truly feel it in your heart. Gratitude is most powerful when it is deeply felt, when it resonates through your entire being. Take time each day to reflect on the things you appreciate, both big and small. Write them down, speak them aloud, or simply hold them in your mind with a sense of wonder and joy. Let your gratitude permeate every aspect of your day, transforming even ordinary moments into sacred experiences. Gratitude also shifts your relationships and interactions with others. When you express genuine appreciation for the people in your life, you strengthen your connections and invite more meaningful interactions. People are drawn to those who radiate positivity and acknowledgement, and your gratitude can inspire others to see the abundance in their own lives. This ripple effect creates a network of goodwill and generosity, multiplying the blessings you give and receive. Even in challenging times, gratitude is a beacon that guides you back to abundance. It helps you find the silver linings in difficulties, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. Gratitude allows you to trust that everything, even the hardships, is working in your favor. This trust fosters resilience and keeps you aligned with the flow of life, ensuring that fortune continues to unfold for you. Gratitude is not just an act but a way of life. It invites you to see the world through the lens of abundance, to recognize that you are already surrounded by wealth in countless forms. As you cultivate gratitude for what you have and what is yet to come, you open the door for greater blessings to flow effortlessly into your experience. Gratitude multiplies your fortune, turning your life into a continuous celebration of abundance. Luck is not a fleeting experience or the result of random events. It is a state of being that arises from the persistence of an inner feeling. To truly become lucky, you must cultivate and sustain the conviction that you are divinely favored, no matter what your external circumstances may suggest. This unwavering belief is the foundation upon which all manifestations are built. When you persist in the feeling of luck, you transform the unseen potential within you into visible reality. The feeling of luck is a deep sense of assurance that life is always working in your favor. It is the inner knowing that every event, every encounter, and every circumstance is conspiring to bring about the best possible outcomes for you. This belief is not dependent on current conditions. In fact, it thrives in the face of adversity. When you maintain this conviction, even when things seem uncertain, you demonstrate the kind of faith that has the power to reshape your reality. The persistence of this feeling requires discipline and focus. It means refusing to allow doubt or fear to take root in your mind. Instead of reacting to external challenges with worry or frustration, you remind yourself of the truth that your inner state creates your outer experience. Even when the evidence of luck is not immediately visible, you hold firm to the belief that it is on its way. This persistence is not blind optimism, it is a deliberate choice to align with the reality you wish to create. The feeling of luck must become a habitual state of mind. To achieve this, immerse yourself in thoughts and emotions that reinforce your belief in your own fortune. Visualize yourself as a person for whom life unfolds effortlessly, where opportunities flow to you without struggle, and everything you desire comes with ease. Let this vision evoke a sense of joy, gratitude, and confidence. By repeatedly immersing yourself in this feeling, you condition your mind to accept it as your reality. One of the most powerful ways to persist in the feeling of luck is to act as if you are already experiencing it. Carry yourself with the confidence of someone who knows they are divinely favored. Speak and move with the assurance that the best is always happening for you. This alignment between your actions and your beliefs strengthens your inner conviction, making it easier to maintain even when challenges arise. Persistence in the feeling of luck is not about denying the difficulties of life. It is about refusing to let those difficulties define your reality. Instead of focusing on what appears to be missing or going wrong, you focus on the abundance and opportunities that are already present or on their way. This shift in focus transforms your energy, making you a magnet for the very experiences you desire. The persistence of this feeling is what bridges the gap between the invisible and the visible. It transforms the intangible belief in your own luck into tangible results in your life. By holding steadfast to the inner conviction that you are divinely favored, you align yourself with the flow of life's abundance. This alignment ensures that luck becomes not just an occasional occurrence, but a constant and unshakable aspect of your existence. In conclusion, luck is not something that happens to you, it is something you create from within. It begins with the certainty of your mindset, the power of your imagination, and the unwavering belief that life is working in your favor. By detaching from the idea of chance and embodying gratitude, you align yourself with the flow of abundance. When you act as if you are already lucky and persist in the feeling of being divinely favored, you transform your inner world, and the external world must reflect that transformation. The key is to consistently nurture these principles in your daily life. Trust in your power, visualize your ideal outcomes, and embrace gratitude for what you have and what is yet to come. Hold on to the unwavering conviction that luck is your birthright, and let your actions, thoughts, and feelings reflect that truth. Thank you for allowing me to guide you on this journey toward unlocking your infinite potential and stepping into a life of divine favor. May your path be filled with abundance, joy, and effortless blessings. The feeling of already having what you desire is the secret. You do not wait for the world to change before you change. You change within, and the world must follow. You are not a beggar waiting for circumstances to grant you favor. You are the creator, shaping your reality with the certainty of what is already yours. Close your eyes and imagine, not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Walk as if the thing you seek is already in your possession. Feel the texture of success, the warmth of love, the security of abundance. If you seek wealth, let the weight of gold rest in your palm. If love is your desire, feel the embrace that already belongs to you. You do not question whether the sun will rise, you know it will. Hold your vision with the same certainty. The world you see is only a shadow cast by the beliefs you hold within. If you wish to change the shadow, you must first change the light. You must dwell in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. Speak from the place of fulfillment, not longing. Walk in the rhythm of one who already possesses all they desire. Let your every thought, every word, every movement be in alignment with this truth. You do not chase, chasing only a firm separation. You embody. The moment you assume the state of having, reality bends to match your conviction. The law is simple. That which you accept as true hardens into fact. The world is your mirror, faithfully reflecting the state you occupy. Align yourself with the certainty of your fulfilled desire, and life must conform. There is no power outside of you deciding your fate. You are the operant power. What you accept, you experience. What you persist in feeling, you manifest. Shift your focus from wanting to knowing, from seeking to possessing. The moment you live as if your desire is already realized, you command the unseen forces of creation to move in your favor. Nothing is denied to the one who lives in the end. Nothing is withheld from the one who dares to assume. Let the feeling of already having saturate your being, and the world must bow to your conviction. The secret to creating the life you desire lies in your ability to live in the end. This means assuming with absolute conviction that you already possess the thing you seek. It is not about wishing, hoping, or waiting for change. It is about stepping into the state of having right now, in this very moment. The world around you is not fixed. It is fluid, constantly molded by your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. You do not need to struggle against circumstances, beg for a better future, or wonder when your desires will manifest. Instead, you step into the feeling of fulfillment, allowing it to saturate your mind and body as though it were already your reality. To live in the end means to feel as if your desire is already accomplished. It is not an act of pretense or mere positive thinking, but a deep inner conviction that what you seek is already yours. You must feel it so profoundly that your mind accepts it as truth. The mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the dominant emotions and beliefs you hold. When you persist in the feeling of having rather than wanting, your world must shift to reflect that inner state. Most people operate from a place of lack. They look at their current reality and react to it, allowing it to dictate their emotions and beliefs. But if you are waiting for proof before you believe, you are allowing the world to control you. This is why so many struggle, because they are trapped in a cycle of reacting to what is rather than creating what will be. The key is to break free from this pattern and understand that you are the cause, not the effect. You are not here to be a victim of circumstances, you are here to shape them. Imagine for a moment that everything you desire is already yours. Close your eyes and step into that reality with all your senses. If it is wealth you seek, feel the security, the ease, the confidence that comes with financial abundance. If it is love, feel the warmth, the companionship, the deep connection of already having your perfect relationship. If it is health, feel the vitality, the strength, the peace of being whole and well. Do not just see it, feel it. Let it become real in your mind. This is not daydreaming, this is creation. The moment you embody the feeling of already having, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match your assumption. This is the power of the unseen. Reality is not something happening to you. It is something responding to you. The moment you shift your state of being, everything around you must shift accordingly. The external world is simply a reflection of the inner world. If you hold on to the feeling of already having what you want, it must materialize in your life. It is law. Doubt is the enemy of creation. The moment you question whether your desire will come, you undo your own work. Doubt is simply a signal that you are still seeing yourself as separate from what you want. When you live in the end, there is no room for doubt, because you are not waiting, you are being. There is a difference between hoping and knowing. Hoping suggests uncertainty, knowing is unwavering. When you step into the state of fulfillment, you no longer ask when will it come, because in your mind it is already here. This is why faith is so powerful. Faith is not about believing in something outside of you. It is about knowing the truth within you. It is about standing firm in your assumption, regardless of what the physical world appears to show. The world will always try to reflect your old beliefs until your new assumption solidifies. This is why persistence is key. You must remain in the state of fulfillment, even when nothing seems to be happening. It is not about forcing reality to change, but about trusting that it must conform. Think of a gardener planting a seed. He does not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. He trusts the process, knowing that if he provides the right conditions, the seed will inevitably sprout. The same is true with your desires. The moment you plant the seed in your imagination and nourish it with the feeling of already having, it must grow into form. The only way you delay it is by doubting, questioning, or shifting back into the state of lack. Living in the end requires a shift in identity. You must no longer see yourself as the person who is striving for something. You must become the person who already has it. This means adjusting your thoughts, emotions, and actions to align with your new reality. Ask yourself, how would I think if I already had what I wanted? How would I speak? How would I carry myself? What choices would I make? Then begin to embody that version of yourself now. Every moment is an opportunity to reinforce your assumption. If old doubts creep in, do not fight them. Simply return to the feeling of already having. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. It is like training a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Over time, this new state of being becomes your default, and reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. There is no need to force anything. When you live in the end, action becomes effortless. You will naturally be drawn to the right opportunities, the right people, the right circumstances. You will move with confidence and ease because you are no longer seeking, you are experiencing. The struggle, the worry, the endless striving all disappear, replaced by a deep inner knowing that what you desire is already yours. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the realization that you do not have to wait for happiness, success, or fulfillment. You do not have to chase, beg, or prove yourself worthy. You are already worthy. The moment you accept this, the moment you live from the end rather than for it, the entire universe bends to bring your vision into reality. The world you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. It is a mirror, faithfully revealing the beliefs, assumptions, and feelings you hold within. Most people believe that their circumstances are random or controlled by external forces, but in truth, everything in your reality is the result of your dominant state of consciousness. If you wish to change your life, you must first change yourself. The outer world cannot shift until your inner world does. Everything you experience is shaped by the thoughts and emotions you entertain. If you constantly dwell in worry, doubt, or fear, life will bring you more situations that reinforce those feelings. If you live in a state of joy, gratitude, and confidence, your world will mold itself to match that energy. This is not wishful thinking. It is a law as precise and unchanging as gravity. The world does not create your state of being. Your state of being creates the world. Consider a person who always expects the worst. They believe that life is difficult, that opportunities are scarce, and that good things rarely happen to them. Because of this belief, they move through life in a state of tension and resistance. They anticipate failure, and so they hesitate to take action. They focus on obstacles, and so they find them everywhere they look. Even when good things come their way, they dismiss them or find reasons why they will not last. Their belief that life is hard becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, contrast that with someone who believes that life is abundant, that opportunities are endless, and that things always work out in their favor. This person walks with ease and confidence. They trust that even challenges are working for their benefit. They expect good things, so they recognize and seize opportunities that others might overlook. They do not waste energy on fear or doubt because their dominant assumption is that all is well, and so their world mirrors this belief, consistently bringing them experiences that affirm their inner state. Both people are living in the same world, but they are experiencing completely different realities. The difference is not in luck, circumstance, or talent. It is in consciousness. Each person is creating their life from within, whether they realize it or not. The outer world is simply an echo, a reflection of what is going on inside. If you wish to change what appears in the mirror, you do not try to manipulate the reflection. You adjust the source. Most people attempt to change their lives by working on the outside first. They try to fix circumstances, control other people, or force external results. But this is like trying to change your reflection in a mirror by adjusting the glass. It does not work. True change happens from within. The moment you shift your inner state, the outer world must follow. It has no choice. If you find yourself stuck in undesirable circumstances, do not look to the world for confirmation of what is possible. Instead, look within and ask, what belief is this reality reflecting back to me? If you are constantly struggling with money, what is your assumption about wealth? Do you believe it is scarce and difficult to obtain? If your relationships are filled with conflict, what are you expecting from others? Do you assume people are untrustworthy, that love is hard to find, or that you are unworthy of affection? The answers to these questions reveal the beliefs shaping your experience. Once you become aware of the inner assumptions creating your reality, you have the power to change them. You do not need to fix the outer world. You only need to shift your state of being. The moment you adopt a new belief, the mirror begins to change. At first, the old reflection may persist, just as a moving train does not stop instantly.